Dhalpuri, a roti lovingly and expertly filled with ground and well-seasoned split peas, served with delightful curries and stews. It appears to require a lot of work, but if you prepare the filling in advance, it's not more difficult than paratha. Today I'm here to dispel any doubts about your ability to make dhalpuri at home. All you need are a few simple ingredients: dried yellow split peas, bandania, also known as culancho, garlic, pepper, flour, baking powder, salt, sugar, and vegetable oil. The hot pepper is totally optional. First, let's make the filling. This can be done in advance. Wash the split peas until the water runs clear. Fill a pot with water and place it over high heat. Then add the washed split peas. Add the turmeric powder, what we call saffron in Trinidad, the salt, and give it a stir. Boil it on high heat for 15 minutes or until it's cooked but still firm.
When it's on, girl, it's soft, it's so hard.
To test if it's ready, I usually do the spoon test. It should be a powdery, smooth texture with no uncooked grains. Once it's cooked, strain it and allow it to completely cool and air dry. If it's hot and wet when you're grinding it, it will result in an unmanageable paste. Now let me demonstrate the traditional grinding method using a food mill. Food mills like this one were traditionally used, but nowadays technology has afforded us other options that are convenient and time-saving. You decide which one works for you and go with it. Now I'll demonstrate the use of the food processor, which I use at home. First you add the garlic, bandania and hot pepper and puree it until it's fine. And because it's not fine enough at this point, I am forced to add the boiled split peas, which will turn into a paste, but I'll show you how to save this. Add about 4 pot spoons of the dal, no more, so that it will be manageable. Once you see it start turning into a paste, start pulsing and continue to pulse until there are no more grains. Completely clean the bowl and then add another 4 pot spoons of split peas. Grind until there are no more grains. Repeat about 2 more times with the remaining split peas. This is the result with the food processor, and this is your result with the food mill. Very similar. To give it more flavor, let's add some salt, roasted ground cumin, also called jeera, and mix it thoroughly. This can also be done in the next step. In your medium heavy bottomed pot, add about 3 tablespoons of oil and add your ground dal or split peas. Mix it well to combine. What we're trying to do here is, number 1, to develop the flavor, and number 2, to allow any excess liquid or water to evaporate so that it will become a more powdery texture. Stay with me, my friends. We're halfway there. It's time to knead the flour. The ingredients and technique are almost the same as the paratha because I find it produces the best results. The only difference is the water. For the paratha, you need a very sticky dough. For the dhalpuri is somewhere between the sada roti dough and the paratha dough. Not as sticky and not as firm as the sada roti. Keep in mind that if the dough is too sticky or too soft, it will be unmanageable. Mix the dough along with the other ingredients to combine very well. Then gradually add your water and squeeze the dough to bring it together. While you're doing that, you're also cleaning around the side of your bowl. Do that because we'll have less scrubbing later on. Once it has all come together, you start with the knuckle press to smooth out the dough. Now that your dough has come together and it's somewhat smooth, we'll try the rolling method. Grab the dough at the top like a bowling ball and roll it around. This is the most effective kneading method I have found so that the dough does not get stiff. Pour about a tablespoon of oil on top of the dough and knead it quickly to coat. Contrary to popular belief, you really don't have to knead the dough too long. We're not making bread. Let the dough rest about 10 to 15 minutes minimum. You can let it rest a little longer if you wish, but not too long because the dough is already soft. If you wish to get technical or you have a horrible sense of average, you can weigh the dough and then divide the number by 8 to give you an idea of how much each piece should weigh. I usually divide my dough into 4 and then divide each piece into 2. 4 cups of flour will yield 8 dhalpouries, mainly because my tawa is 10 inches wide. Form each piece into little loyas or balls. Now you can let it rest another couple of minutes, covered until we're ready to fill it. Now we're ready to fill the dough, and I'm here in the kitchen with my mother-in-law in Trinidad. She has almost 60 years of experience making this every week for the past 60 years, so she is definitely the best person to teach us. So let's pay close attention to her method. Let's see this again, folks. First, stretch the dough into a 4-inch round, dust with flour, place it on the palm of your hand, fill it with about 2 tablespoons of the filling, pressing it down with a spoon. Fold the dough up towards the top, squeezing and rotating the dough to seal it at the top by pinching. Roll it in the palm of your hands to create a nice round ball. Add a little flour to the seal and then evenly distribute the filling towards the edges. Play back this video as many times as you need to learn this technique. If you don't fill it properly, then the dal will not be evenly distributed throughout the roti. And also the roti can break during the rolling out process and the cooking process. Give me a thumbs up if this was helpful. Now here I am going to try my mother-in-law's method. So far so good. I'm going to put my 2 tablespoons of filling in the center. Try not to let the filling fall off. I'm going to stretch the sides up. Stretching the sides so that it'll be easy to pull up to the top. Oh, I got a little risky there. I'm adding more filling, pressing it down, pulling the sides to the top. Maybe my hands are not big enough. I am pulling the dough to the top. Not what my mother-in-law taught me, but it seems to be working and it tasted good at the end. So use your own method. If it works, it works. While your tawa is heating over medium heat, dust the counter and rolling pin with flour. Take one of the loyas, gently flatten it with your fingers, starting from the center of the dough, roll out, pushing outwards and down, turning 90 degrees angle several times, and flipping and repeating until it is a flat, even circle, and ensuring that the edges are also even. If you're just starting to learn how to make dhalpourie, I suggest that you do not roll it out too thin, which can cause breakage and seepage of the filling. And keep it well floured at all times. Pick up the dough and gently place it on the tawa by flipping and rotating your wrists. Allow it to cook for about 15-20 seconds, brush with oil, and immediately flip. You may use a fancy brush, a homemade puchara, or an enamel cup to put the oil on the roti, whatever works for you. Brush again with oil and allow it to cook for another 20 seconds. Then flip and cook for another 30 seconds, pressing the edges to ensure that they are evenly cooked. You may continue to cook until your dhalpourie has nice, lovely golden brown spots and it has swollen. In many cases, it does swell, and the edges are cooked. Place it in a paper towel or a paper-lined bowl or a kitchen towel to absorb the extra oil. Repeat with the remaining dough until all the dhalpouries are made. Serve it with delicious curries, stews, vegetables for a fantastic, satisfying meal. Comfort food at its best. When my kids were younger, they didn't like dhalpourie because it was so messy to eat, but nowadays they enjoy it thoroughly. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned a lot today. Please like, subscribe, and share.